Shaq was crazy.
Remember the Shaq and Lou Amundsen back and forth? Remember when Shaq took his mouthpiece and put it in his tights during shoot-around?
Shaquille O'Neal was completely unhinged in the best and worst ways. People still remember the chaotic back and forth moments involving Shaq and Lou Amundsen. Fans also remember the incident when Shaq took Amundsen's mouthpiece and shoved it inside his compression shorts during shoot-around. Shaquille O'Neal stood 7 feet 1 inch tall and weighed roughly 325 pounds, and he dominated the league while winning 4 NBA championships, 3 Finals MVP awards, and 1 regular season MVP. NBA legends regularly describe him as a monster because he was physically impossible to contain, and his off-court behavior was unlike anything the league had ever experienced. This is how those who played alongside him and against him explained why Shaq earned that reputation. Shaq entered the NBA in 1992 after being selected first overall by the Orlando Magic. He stood 7'1 inch, weighed over 325 pounds, and moved with speed that made no sense for someone his size. During his rookie season, he averaged 23.4 points, 13.9 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks per game, which earned him Rookie of the Year honors. He shattered backboards with his dunks, forcing the NBA to reinforce its rims because no player before him had broken equipment through sheer power. The Magic immediately built the franchise around him, pairing him with Penny Hardaway, a talented point guard who could feed Shaq in the post and also create his own offense. The pairing was instantly successful, and by 1995, Orlando reached the NBA Finals. Although they were swept by the Houston Rockets.
It wasn't fun. It was not fun playing against Shaq. You know, I didn't fear too many players during my career, but Shaq was one of those guys that I feared.
Shaq was just 23 years old, and his future looked limitless. Scottie Pippen competed against Shaq throughout the 1990s. Pippen won 6 championships alongside Michael Jordan and spent over a decade guarding the greatest players in the world. He defended Magic Johnson in the finals, battled Karl Malone in playoff series, and faced every elite challenge the NBA had to offer. When asked about guarding Shaq, Pippen admitted that it was not enjoyable at all. He said that while he did not fear many players during his career, Shaq was one of the few who genuinely scared him. A 6-time champion and Hall of Famer who guarded legends like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird openly admitted fear, a word rarely used when discussing NBA defense. Gary Payton spent 2 decades in the NBA and won Defensive Player of the Year in 1996, while earning 9 All-Defensive First-Team selections. He talked trash to every opponent he faced and consistently backed it up with elite defense. Payton described Shaq as a force unlike anything he had ever seen, calling him mean, nasty, competitive, and vindictive. He explained that most players with Shaq's size were cautious and worried about injuries, but Shaq used his body as a weapon without hesitation. Teams tried everything to stop him, from single coverage to double teams to zone defenses, but nothing worked. If guarded one-on-one, he scored effortlessly. If doubled, he passed to open shooters or powered through defenders. When teams collapsed into zones, Shaq positioned himself deep in the paint and demanded the ball. At his peak with the Los Angeles Lakers from 2000 to 2002, Shaq averaged 35.9 points and 15.2 rebounds per game in the NBA Finals while shooting nearly 60% from the field. He won 3 consecutive championships and 3 straight Finals MVP awards, something no center in NBA history had ever accomplished. His Finals performances bordered on absurd, averaging 38 points and 16.7 rebounds against Indiana in 2000, 33 points and 15.8 rebounds against Philadelphia in 2001, and 36.3 points and 12.3 rebounds against New Jersey in 2002. The Lakers dominated each series with ease. Richard Jefferson later explained that teams needed 3 or 4 centers simply to have enough bodies to foul Shaq. Opponents sent big men out to absorb fouls, rack up foul trouble, and hoped to slow him down for a few possessions. The plan almost never worked because Shaq absorbed contact, scored anyway, and added free throws on top of it. Wilt Chamberlain, who once scored 100 points in a single game, watched Shaq play and recognized something familiar. Chamberlain said Shaq got away with what he considered murder in the paint, even though Wilt played in a far more physical era. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar once questioned Shaq's greatness by asking why his teams kept getting swept in the playoffs, a comment made before the Lakers won their first title in 2000. Shaq heard the criticism and responded by scoring 61 points and grabbing 23 rebounds in his next game, yelling directly at Kareem during the performance. When fueled by disrespect, Shaq became even more unstoppable. In Los Angeles, Shaq partnered with Kobe Bryant, and their relationship was tense from the start. Kobe was only 18 when Shaq arrived in 1996, and he wanted to be the best player immediately. Shaq expected Kobe to defer and wait his turn, but Kobe refused. The tension lasted their entire partnership. When Phil Jackson became head coach in 1999, his experience managing egos from his time with Michael.
What was the problem? Why couldn't you coexist?
I'm obsessive, and I believe we need to work night and day, figure out how to get to where we need to go. And he wanted to do it a different way. And so there was a constant challenge there to get that done. But I wasn't going back down, and neither was he. He felt I should play a certain way and give the ball into him. I said,
Jordan became essential. Kobe later explained that the conflict was fundamental, as he believed in obsessive preparation while Shaq trusted his talent to dominate when it mattered. Neither was willing to change, yet they still won 3 championships together. Phil Jackson later said that if Shaq had Kobe's work ethic, they could have won 12 or 13 titles, a statement that still haunts Shaq's legacy. Shaq's monster reputation extended far beyond the court. The NBA locker room has always been full of pranks, but Shaq took them to extreme levels. His pranks were designed to shock, humiliate, and establish dominance. Matt Barnes, who played with Shaq in Phoenix, described him as completely unhinged. Teammates recalled stories of Shaq tackling players while naked, riding bicycles through facilities without clothes, and humiliating teammates in ways that crossed all professional boundaries. The Lou Amundsen mouthpiece incident became legendary, as Shaq reportedly placed Amundsen's mouthpiece inside his shorts and threatened him into silence. Gary Payton later revealed that Shaq used a bucket as a toilet for a week before dumping it on unsuspecting rookies in bathroom stalls. This behavior went far beyond.
Remember the Shaq and Lou Amundsen back and forth? Remember when Shaq took his mouthpiece and put it in his tights during shoot-around?
I was just talking with Shaq about that last night, man.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show,
Shaq
too.
is the craziest
Nasty
teammate.
motherfucker,
Nasty,
man.
Hey, man, Shaq. I mean, there's so many stories, man, with
naked,
Shaq,
tackling
man.
people.
He
riding on his
naked all the
bike, butt
time.
naked. Remember riding on Lou's bike, butt naked?
Yo,
Ass all
man,
on his
I'm an out Shaq right here, but I remember one time it's so bad, man. Man, we're in the showers after practice, and he goes to Jay Rich.
Standard hazing and was deeply degrading. When Payton retaliated by stealing Shaq's underwear, Shaq responded by driving through Miami wearing only a towel before removing it entirely. The lack of boundaries defined Shaq's behavior throughout his career. Shaq also admitted to punching 5 people across 6 different teams during his career, including altercations with Scott Skiles, Alvin Robertson, and Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Despite the chaos, Shaq helped the Miami Heat win the 2006 championship, accepting a reduced role after Gary Payton confronted him about sacrifice. Shaq listened, allowed Dwyane Wade to take over, and earned his 4th ring. Shaq's career was also defined by feuds. His rivalry with Kobe Bryant became the most famous in NBA history, fueled by ego, work ethic, and personality. After Shaq was traded to Miami, the Barbs continued, including a rap diss track aimed at Kobe. Their reconciliation came slowly, and Kobe's tragic death in 2020 put their feud into perspective for Shaq. Shaq also feuded with Dwight Howard over the Superman nickname, with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar over work ethic criticism, and with Charles Barkley, whose on-court fight eventually turned into friendly banter.
He's a jokester. So if one of the rookies would be in a stall, he would take a bucket and use the bathroom in it for about a week. And then all of a sudden he'll pour it on them. So we started being jokesters.
On television. In recent years, Shaq has targeted modern centers like Rudy Gobert, Joel Embiid, and Nikola Jokic, often criticizing their accomplishments and questioning their greatness. The debate surrounding Shaq's legacy always returns to one question. What if he had worked harder? Phil Jackson believed Shaq could have been the greatest ever. Shaq often arrived out of shape, avoided off-season rehab, and never fixed his free throw shooting. While his approach still led to championships, many believe it cost him even more. Shaq retired in 2011 after 19 seasons, but his impact never faded. As an analyst on Inside the NBA, he continues to create controversy and shape basketball conversations. His jerseys are retired in Orlando, Miami, and Los Angeles, and his statue stands outside the Lakers arena. His statistics place him among the greatest players ever, and his influence changed how teams defended the center position forever. Beyond basketball, Shaq built a massive business empire, earned advanced degrees, and became a major philanthropist. The contradictions define him: a locker room menace who supports children's charities, a dominant superstar who avoided maximum effort, and a legend who remains impossible to ignore. NBA legends call Shaq a monster because they lived it. They felt his strength, endured his chaos, and witnessed both his greatness and his flaws firsthand. The monster never retired. He simply found new arenas.